we are going to talk a little bit about Jurassic World Rebirth, the seventh. Let me turn off these captions here. The seventh movie in the franchise for Jurassic Park. Came out in 1993 originally, and this movie is the seventh installment of it. On Superman opening weekend, went to go see Jurassic World because, I wanted to see this movie, and this is the first opportunity I got to go see it. When you go see a Jurassic Park movie, I think there is a number of expectations that the viewer has when they watch a movie such as this, right? And it was perfectly summed up by a man, I don't know his name, that I heard in the hallways of the Alamo Theater. And he came out of the theater and he said, I don't know. I feel like there was too much exposition and not enough action. Like, I just want to see someone get eaten by a dinosaur. And that was the end of his quote. And I think that, honestly, yeah, when you're seeing a Jurassic Park movie, you want it to get straight to the action, right? You're going there to see great visual effects, some photoreal dinosaurs, and to see the slow turn to the camera when they realize that they've stumbled upon not just an empty meadow, but a T-Rex's lair, and they're going to get chased by it. And this one does deliver on those expectations like other ones do. Full disclosure, I've watched 1, 2, and 3 a long time ago, as everyone has. Watched 1 recently, right? You start realizing how good that first movie is when you rewatch it now. And I've watched the first, I believe, I've watched the first Chris Pratt movie. I don't know if I even was aware that there were 3 Chris Pratt movies of Jurassic World. So Jurassic World Dominion, Jurassic World, the first one, and then whatever the second one was. I had to look it up today going, oh, there's I cannot believe this is the 7th installment. This movie follows Scarlett Johansson. Her character is Zora. She's kind of like a spy who gets kind of co-opted into helping out this mission because they think that the dinosaur's blood can cure heart disease for the general populace, right? And they are basically living in a world that is set years after the events of Jurassic Park Dominion, where dinosaurs and humans live peacefully. Very Planet of the Apes plot line, I will say. They're living peacefully together, and now due to climate change and due to people's interference, dinosaurs live towards the edge of the equator. So, of course, a crew starts to gather, and they are going to head to a place where no human would dare to go to in order to kind of extract dinosaur blood in order to cure heart disease. Which, in the beginning of this movie, there's a lot of stuff going on. And if you've ever been to an Alamo Theater, in the beginning of the theater going experience, there's a lot going on, right? You're giving your card, you're giving your order, you're putting papers up, you're writing down extra bowl of popcorn before the previews start. A lot of things are happening. This movie is very heavy when it comes to exposition, setting up the excuse to get the main characters to the island and give them a believable excuse to why they're going to where no human will go before. I think this is actually the worst part of the movie itself. And it's the first 10 minutes of the movie where there's a lot of talking. There's not the greatest character development in the world. And where they try to paint on backstory to seemingly these people that don't necessarily deserve a lot of love in the first place. And they try to give them enough of a backstory so that you care about them. Specifically, Scarlett Johansson's character and what's his name? He plays Remy in House of Cards. Let me see if I can get his name up. Jurassic Park World. What is his name? It's going to drive me nuts if I don't get it. Mahershala Ali. He plays Remy in House of Cards, and he plays Duncan in Jurassic World. There's a beat in this movie where they both kind of are talking to each other and very, very on the nose talk about their tragic backstories. And then there's just a pause and then they move on. And it's very surface level. And I know you're not going to have a lot of, it's unfair of me to think that Jurassic Park is going to be a movie that's going to really give you a deep, deep backstory. Of course, this is a movie about dinosaurs living on an island, right? And everybody seems to go back for some reason whatsoever. But it is just so on the nose in that moment that it really feels like there was a point in the script when they were writing it and they were like, these characters are not likable enough to care if they live or die. So we need to give them some sort of tragic backstory to make you care, right? It also good to note that this movie is also directed by Gareth Edwards, who has directed Rogue One. And Rogue One also has a little bit of the same problem, but it's been alleviated a little bit by some of the other shows we've been talking about, like Andor, where there's a lot of action happening. There's not a lot of time to develop the characters, but you get enough so that you care about them in the end. That's movies' problems have been solved by a 2-season, 12-episode apiece, 24-episode arc where now it's the characters are given such big backstories that you care about them even more. This movie doesn't really get that same payoff, right? There's just not enough time for it to develop the characters enough. So there's that. That's kind of a little bit of a con for the movie. Scarlett Johansson's character is not that three-dimensional. It really feels like Scarlett Johansson is playing Scarlett Johansson. There's no real character here. The character seemed very, very aware that the antagonist is the antagonist in this movie. They don't really even try to hide it. And I wrestled with that going, I don't know if this is necessarily that. Is it just me, or is this movie not that great? Or like, what am I here to see? And really, in reality, you're here to see one thing. You're here to see the dinosaurs eat someone, right? You're here to see impressive displays and Jaws, dinosaur style. And in that way, the movie really, really does deliver. Some of the ocean scenes, the scenes in particular that really kind of stand out actually are the subplot of the movie, which follows a family sailing across the Atlantic that gets teamed up with this kind of motley crew that's going for the medicine to cure heart disease. And they get entangled and embroiled in their mess when their boat capsizes by some dinosaurs. Those moments, I think, are brilliantly done. It makes you think. It makes you wonder if the movie was originally the first plot, and they're like, we need to add some sort of family element for people to care a little bit more. And that subplot is actually what brings a lot of the humor in that I think this movie is missing, right? If you compare it to the first one, which is an unfair comparison to begin with, you had a Jeff Goldblum in the first one that was really doing a lot of heavy lifting comedically to keep you invested. And this subplot delivers in a kind of father, daughter's boyfriend dynamic that really actually kind of plays pretty well and honestly has some of the best scenes in between from a character's perspective between them. But then other than that, it just becomes a good popcorn summer blockbuster kind of movie. It's not going to be the one that you probably are going to say it's your favorite Jurassic Park from the series, but it does a pretty good job of bringing a new set of characters to a trilogy that is now 7 movies long. And if you have to reboot every single 3 movies, it's not a bad cast of characters to start to follow. Hopefully they can be explored a little bit more in depth going into the future, but they do a pretty good job of explaining people's origin stories hella quick and introducing you to this new problem that has been set in motion 7 years prior. I think that's what the time jump was. The product placement in this movie is obnoxious. It is, and this is not a spoiler. I just want to make it clear. But the whole thing is set in motion by a Snickers wrapper, which I did not think that this movie would be that shameless about the product placement. But also, it's just, I don't know. It just seems like a weird inception to a story of someone littered, and here we are getting chased by a mutant dinosaur because of a Snickers wrapper. It really felt like, is that the best we can do? Is this the best we can do? I don't know. Anyways, that's Jurassic World, directed by Gareth Edwards and starring Scarlett Johansson in this 7th installment of Jurassic World. I would recommend. Listen, I think if you've already seen Superman, I don't think it's a bad thing to see this in the theaters. I think it's fun. I like the movie. I don't think it's the best Jurassic Park movie ever made. I don't think it's the best movie ever made, but I think that it offers enough to keep you interested. And like Rogue One, where there's a lot happening and beat by beat and by beat, it keeps it going. Outside of the first 10 minutes, it's a pretty good movie through and through. It just starts off slow, and there's a lot of exposition and then when it starts revving its engines, it goes to the very end. And it's been one of the few movies this year that I have not had to have a bathroom break in the middle of it, because it does not overstay its welcome, which is very, very much appreciated in this day and age of long movies. So with that, that's Jurassic World. Go see the movie. Give it a shot. Give it a shot. It's getting badly reviewed, and it's getting like 5 out of 10s and 4s out of 10s and stuff like that. It's getting kind of panned on Rotten Tomatoes. Go do yourself a favor. Don't listen to the reviews. Go see the movie. You'll have fun. Jurassic Park never fails to. It's like a warm blanket. You know what you're gonna get. So if you want a comfortable experience, go see Jurassic World Rebirth for an origin story and for a third hard reboot of this series. It's not bad.